All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Let's talk about Porsha Williams. Well, actually, we want to talk about Simon Guobadia, our very own Benin Edo brother. We want to talk about him. Want to get us up to speed. Sadly, he's been deported. He has been deported, is what the news is carrying. He has been deported all the way back to Nigeria. But I thought we should catch up on this and let's review some of the stories that got us here and what can we learn from this guy's story. He came on the scene. He decided to expose himself. Simon Guobadia is a 61-year-old Nigerian entrepreneur. entrepreneur, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and executive producer. He got into TV. He entered TV, right? Some years back. Let me see exactly what year. He entered TV somewhere around 2021, something like that. Yeah, around 2021. By way of romance, by mistakenly. But I don't think it's by mistake. I think Simon knew exactly what he was doing. But what we're talking about, you're looking at the young lady on the screen that's kissing Simon here. That's Porsha Railroad Track Williams. Porsha is a Real Housewives of Atlanta star, a reality TV show star, if you will. I think she's a radio host too. Let's be nice to Porsha. She's also a radio host. She's a radio host with This Nation and them somewhere in Atlanta on the radio somewhere, So she has a day job. I think she also sells wigs, as per normal. She sells other things, women's stuff, whatever, So she has a business. She's a brand. So that a Niger guy man will tag on to Porsha and see if he can make something out of it, and mistakenly find himself deported to Nigeria. I'm not surprised. That's not what we do. Niger men, we're computer engineers, we're nurses, we're doctors, we're astronauts, right? We're all types of stuff. We're politicians. Like, we're in high places. Contrary to popular belief, I was listening to somebody the other day said, if you want to, I think it was Kendra, the one that does dating shows. She was like, well, if you want a Nigerian guy who can marry you right now to get papers, I was like, may God forgive this girl. May God forgive you. Nigerians are in all kind of great places. So anyway, while we're talking about Simon Guobadia, well, Simon has been deported. According to news, he was arrested not too long ago. But how did he get here? How did Simon get here? So we're going to review some of a little bit of a timeline here, and then see if I can extract one lesson here and there from there. So 1982, a long time ago, it's about 43 years ago, Simon moved to the United States, and he moved to the United States on a 6-month visa. And at that time, he overstayed. And then somewhere around 1985, he actually got married. You know what type of we can say it now because it's public record. You know what type of marriage it is, right? He got married, and he got married for the purpose of Ewe. Let's call it Ewe. Let's call it green, not money. The one that's much more valuable than money. The one he should have protected with his life. Anyway, he got married. But then, unfortunately, he got arrested. He didn't get arrested exactly he didn't get arrested exactly because of the way. He got arrested because of a couple of things, according to the papers out there. He got arrested for bank fraud, vehicle misuse. Back then, in fact, here in New Jersey, somebody was telling me the story. Once upon a time, here in New Jersey, one of the ways that people would do their thing is car dealerships. They have car dealerships, or they had car dealerships, behind the scenes car dealerships. They will register car dealerships, main ones. Some of them will share multiple. Some of those car dealers, licensed car dealers, they will share the same lot they do business together, other types of businesses, that where you can, credit card type of fraud. Let's just call it what it is, fraud. Okay. So bank fraud and all that kind of stuff, especially in the 90s. Anyway, he was deported, according to people.com. He was actually deported in 1992. I think people.com has access to the legal papers. I don't. So I'm just referencing what they said. 1992, he was actually deported. 1992 to 2025. How far are we? If you want to call in, the link is to the top. I'm finishing exactly on time today. So if you want to call in, make sure you call in already. Anyway, so following a string of arrests, bank fraud, vehicle misuse, all that kind of stuff, he was deported in 1992. Back then in the 90s, guess what? You were deported? Forget that thing. It's not going to happen. But today it's a little bit different. If you're deported today, they have your fingerprint, they have your face everywhere, especially if you use your own self to take your face to show it to the whole world. But I don't know what his motive was. But anyway, he had all these records. Unfortunately, he was deported in 1992. But in 1992, eventually, I think a few months later or something like that. Anyway, Simon returned on a different identity. Actually, from what I read earlier on, hold on one second, guys. Hold on. Let me make sure everything is all right, good. All is well in the kingdom. Anyway, so he returned after that. A few weeks after, he reached a different identity. Okay, and at that time, he actually returned with a permanent residency. He actually had a green card by the time he returned. Okay, because it's called, I won't call it what they call it because of people that are ear lurking. Okay, see, Ojulon Rojusha, no, people have their ways of doing what they have to do. The only thing is that I wouldn't have put myself on TV if I know that if I know that there's certain things, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking, you know what I mean? Exactly. I wouldn't be on TV, but probably thought he got away with it once upon a time. It was like 30 something years ago. So he probably about almost 40 years ago, and he probably well, not 40 years ago, about 35 years ago, he got away with it. So he probably thought he could get away with it again. Okay, so but anyway, he returned, he got away with it, he got a permanent residence, and he actually built a business empire. Actually, the name of his company, yes, I'm reading here, is called Simcol Petroleum. So a company that was founded in 2010, oil and gas, you get it, Simcol Petroleum, big money, right? So, but not just that, he's actually living the lifestyle, multiple homes in Atlanta, in the Atlanta area. Some people might have even said he might even own like an island at one point, but he was always traveling back and forth on private jets to the islands, own multiple Atlanta restaurants. And of course, I think him getting on TV was his way of trying to build his film production company. Okay, so he actually was also running a film production company. So it was a strategic thing. What do I mean by getting on Real Lives of Atlanta? Well, in 2019, he married a girl called Feline, right? Feline Pina. Okay, Feline Pina was actually Feline Guobadia at one point, So he married this girl. This girl was, one of the boss ladies around the Atlanta area. So what happens eventually? They approach them, or they approach people, or they have relationships. They get them on the Real Housewives, franchise, right? They get them on that because it helps them expand their business, their brand, its opportunities. Okay, so this was around June 2019, summertime, June 2019. They got on TV. And during that time, of course, one of the housewives that visited their home, among others, was a young lady, Porsha Railroad Track Williams. Why am I calling her Railroad Track Williams? I think you should Google that, because I probably will do a bad work explaining that. Okay, let's just call her that. Okay, now around May 2021, around the summertime of 2021, Simon basically publicly accused his lady, the wife, Feline Pina, accused her of an affair with their houseboy. Okay, not houseboy, with the personal assistant. Okay, his name is Jalen Banks. Okay, and at that time he actually released like CCTV footages of them, philandering, whatever, drove out to the house, picked up some stuff. They were running away from him or something. There was an accusation of cheating with the house boy. Our brother don't collect, our brother don't suffer in the hands of Obìnrin. Crazy. Anyway, let me come here real quick. What are you guys talking about? Let me see. What did I miss? Mario says his ex-wife used to be inspo for the wannabe trophy wives before they come on real. I don't know what inspo is, but he wanted this fame by getting with Madame Porsha. Okay. Yes. What happened to all his personal belongings, his cars, bank account? That's a good question, Dart. That's a good question. Wishing him growth, health, happiness going forward. Yeah, it's not the end of the world, believe it or not. Especially for someone like him, he will rise. Yes, so time flies. Yes, Max, time flies. It was his confidence for me, Kemi said. Comfortably gallivanting on TV knowing his immigration status. His confidence can be compared to the likes of Hush Puppy. Yes, that's what it sounds like to me. You know, some things are obvious, but sometimes you just have to be humble and wait for them to tell us. Because if you let them talk long enough, they'll tell on themselves. Maybe if he wasn't looking for citizenship, it would have been good. Should have kept the green card. You just have to renew it, I think, every 10 years or every 5 years. That's what he should have done. Absolutely. Anyway, back to the story. Okay. So Filipina, Jalen Banks, they were cheating together according to Simon Guobadia. So Simon publicly accused her of having an affair with the PA, the houseboy. That's what we will call him. Well, no, there's PAs in Nigeria too. PA, let's call him PA, personal assistant to the wife. Anyway, that man don't collect. So Simon claimed that Philin was actually pregnant for Jillian at one point. But of course, they denied it at that time. They denied it publicly. But guess what happened in July 2021? I was talking about May 2021 just now, right? Guess what happened just a couple of months later? They confirmed their relationship. Jillian and Philin. They confirmed it, yes. And not only that, they actually shared photos of themselves together as a couple. My brother, this is not right. Look at them. Jillian looks like one of my sons. That's them. And that's Philin that you're looking at right there on the screen. Yeah. That man don't collect. I don't know. Anyway, Jillian later stated that he was groomed. Let me explain it all the way for you. So they ended up on a show. I think it was Marriage Boot Camp on VH1 or something like that. They ended up on the show. Basically, they only end up on that show because their relationship, Jillian, the side dude, and the wife, ex-wife at that time, or ex-wife now, right? Because they ended up filing for divorce. They ended up on that show, and Jillian accused Philin. Jillian, the guy, accused Philin of grooming. He said he was groomed. Okay. He said he was actually groomed on their trip to Cancun. And they never really confirmed that they were cheating. Obviously, we can put 1 and 1, 2 together. Let me ask you, if you think she cheated on Simon Guobadia, put a 1 in the chat. I'm talking about Philin. If you think Philin cheated on Simon Guobadia, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that otherwise, maybe you have other parts of the story, I don't know. Let me know. Put a 2 in the chat. Anyway, fast forward, February 2023, Philin and Jillian, they separated. She actually had a miscarriage. How old is Jillian? Jillian is like barely, I think he's in his 20s. Less than 25 at the time. Philin is like 30 something. Don't quote me. It doesn't matter. He's much, much younger. Okay. Anyway, they separated. They reconciled. They got back together. They actually married in December 2024, and they actually had a newborn baby, according to what I'm seeing here on people.com. Now, let's stay in that loop a little bit. Let's go back to after he divorced. Okay, remember they divorced. Okay, they ended up in divorce, and they ended up moving up with the houseboy. Sorry, the PA, Jalen Banks, the young man. Okay. Few months later on, just 1 month according to report, as a matter of fact, After splitting with Feline, Simon, our own Edo brother, decided that, I have my eyes. There was one lady that visited my wife once upon a time. What was her name? Porsha Railroad Track Williams. Yes. Remember that time? May 2021. No, actually 2019 or so. Anyway, he started dating Porsha. You know, Porsha was with some other dude, had a baby with another dude. I forgot his name now. I think his name is Dennis. But anyway, they splitted. We just saw a picture of Porsha between two men. Dennis, baby father, baby daddy. And then ex-husband of a friend. Somebody said, but they were not really friends. They just visited because it was more or less a movie set. It was a reality TV show set. They were just pretending to be friends. But bottom line is that these were in the same circle. Anyway, Porsha ended up dating Simon. They ended up getting married by September 2021. Porsha ended up in Edo State. They made a trip to Nigeria to visit his family. You know when you find a wife, he who finds a wife find a good thing, right? So Simon, my brother, found a good thing in Porsha, so he decided to take a trip, private jet, PJ lifestyle, from the United States to. So he was able to travel back and forth. So how did he get deported? How did he get to deportation if he can travel back and forth between the islands, private jets, countries, and all this kind of stuff? How did he manage to do that? Well, maybe he wasn't, like Myra said, maybe he wasn't filing for citizenship. So he was able to, get under the radar. And especially if you're going through the private wings, a private jet lifestyle, you could probably bribe people or just, you take care of them, you bring them gifts, they let you slide. Not a big deal, even if they cash that in the system at some point. Anyway, by September 2021, they took a trip to Nigeria, to his hometown, and they actually got married. Eventually, they got married in 2022 in a big, just at that time. Today we're talking about Priscilla, right? Priscilla Ojo, Yabo Ojo's daughter. At that time, it was Porsha Williams. It was her wedding. Esosa. They even gave her a name. Esosa. In Nigerian style. Oh, I'm there. Gele everywhere. I'm telling you. Let me see if I can find a picture for you guys to see. They got married. This is a picture of check this one out. This is a picture when everything was so happy, everything was so good. Oh my god, oh my gosh, everybody's mouth was watering. African guy, African papi, African, what do you call it? African prince. There you go. This is better. Is African prince better? African king? I think it's African. Let's just call it African prince. Porsha found an African prince at that time. Oh my show. Anyway, yes, they got married, and that's the picture that you're looking at here. They actually got married Nigerian style, Edo style, everybody. I didn't mean to show you the deportation yet. Just not like that. That's what happened back then. Anyway, so they married. They did two big weddings in Nigeria, and I think they did one in Nigeria, the traditional, and then they came back to America and they did another big one. So anyway, unfortunately, in late 2024, he started catching lawsuits. One of the lawsuits was about private jet chartering, right? He was sued for misusing a private jet by the company that he charters the private jets with. He was inflating hours according to the lawsuits, and he was falsifying flight logs. Falsifying flight logs? Are we talking about international? It doesn't matter. That is like federal crime as far as I know, if you are falsifying flight logs. Anyway, he caught the lawsuits about the private jet uses and all kind of other business practices stuff, and there's a lot of messy stuff in between that lawsuit, and we still don't know what the legal outcome of that one is. There was also, he was owing like a couple of $100,000, crazy amount of money, because if he's a millionaire, a couple of $100,000 at the minimum, you should be able to approach a bank and say, hey, let's get rid of this while I'm continue to focus on business, right? Or at least, have a lawyer dealing with that in the court. I'm sure that's what it was trying to do. Yeah, so that happened in late 24. But let's go back to February 2024. February 2024, Porsha sadly filed for divorce. Why did Porsha file for divorce? All kind of stuff came out about his past, okay, about his identity. Somebody said, why didn't you ask all these questions before you got married? Is African prince your mate? I was about to call him Yoruba demon, but he's an Edo guy. It's not your mate, okay? She was in love. She wasn't asking questions. She wasn't going to ask questions that would jeopardize the chances that this is a happily ever after. This is what people do. This is a good reason why, I don't know if it's a good reason, but this is a reason why people don't ask questions. They don't want to jeopardize something that's feeling so good. The last thing you want to do is ask a question that will change your reality overnight. So of course she did not ask questions. Anyway, she filed divorce in February 2024 and she cited irreconcilable differences. And this it's almost like a day apart after. Did I predict this one? I generally don't like predicting this kind of stuff, so I don't know if I did or not, but I did talk about it. There's all kind of red flags over this. But anyway, because of prior identity, the fraud history, and legal troubles, it was like Ajekilano or Mokulini. Don't mind what I just said. Bottom line is that it was just obvious that because of he was catching lawsuits, all kind of stuff was exposed by him. And then of course, shortly after that, he was picked up at an airport by ICE, the immigration people, okay? And it was also transferred to a detention center after that. And he had been under that detention until just a few days ago. And some of the things, the charges were visa overstays. Wait, what? I thought it was a citizen. What do you mean visa overstay? And of course, all the fraud came to light, okay? So in November 2024, Simon was after the divorce, right? After the divorce, between the divorce and the arrest, Simon was getting heavily petty. He was going heavy petty on social media. He was posting everything about, he was very petty with Feline before, and that when a man gets petty with a woman that he used to have a romantic relationship with, that's a telltale sign for me, okay? That's all I need to know. As far as no wonder that whole thing collapsed. That's all I need to know, okay? But what if he's right? He's just telling the truth. It doesn't matter if you're telling the truth or you're right. If you can get petty on the internet publicly with the woman you used to have sex with, it tells me everything I need to know. I didn't say you are guilty. I didn't say you were wrong. I didn't say you were right or wrong. It doesn't matter. It tells me everything I need to know. Take that to the bank. And of course, he got petty with Porsha after Porsha filed for divorce. He actually sued Porsha for $75,000 in November 2024, accusing her of defamation and implying he had erectile dysfunction. Basically sign language. Basically shame, insult, guilt. It needs to be right. She was shaming him by saying he has a little something, or his stuff was not. You're 61 years old. We're not gonna judge you for that. And by the way, there are remedies for that. You don't have to sue your ex-wife for $75,000. I mean, you could, but I'm just saying it tells me a lot. Okay. Of course, around that same time, he actually tried to prevent Porsha from using their residence for filming, because now Porsha is getting back on Real Housewives of Atlanta at the time. But I think the court actually granted her the permission to use that at that time. Fast forward to June 10th, 2025. Deportation is finalized. After weeks in ICE custody, Simon was deported. I'm reading now. Simon was deported to Nigeria on June 10th, 2025. Found ineligible due to fraudulent identity, visa overstays since the 1980s, and prior criminal record. Upon release, Simon launched Free Simon. No ICE this summer. Merch. It's a businessman. Okay. He launched a clothing line. No ice this summer, free Simon. Merch to support prison reform. Prison reform? Why? What happened? Was this all lies? Were you falsely accused? What do you mean reform? Anyway, the prison does need reform anyway. Maybe he's fighting for the people inside that were picked up wrongly. As you know, in LA, there's been all kind of craziness going on in LA recently, in the last few days. So it's kind of sad. Reportedly in good spirits, he will handle divorce proceedings via a video call. That's what they're saying. Anyway, that's the up to date with Simon Guobadia. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Mag said, do you think it's because of Trump's mass deportation agenda being versus Democrats' relaxed approach to immigration? I'll tell you like this. I had a piece that I wrote that I think I should probably go ahead and read right now. Let me see. Maybe it's a good time for me to read that right now. I can probably just read that to you guys. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull that up. He leveled up. Well, so Simon thoughts. Yeah, he did. Maybe if he wasn't looking for citizenship, he would have been good. Should have kept the green card. I know. Yeah, it's sad. So in LA, there's been a riot over the past few days. Yes, I strongly believe that it's also the wrong timing for Simon because of all the stuff that's going on. I actually heard yesterday that the whole LA thing might have been extended to Texas. But let me go ahead and deliver this one to you guys, and then we'll call it a day. Okay. Let me pull this thing up. Where is it? Big. Okay. All right. It's okay. Hold on 1 second. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notification, please. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notification, please. Hit that like button. I've got another piece here that I'm going to read to you about the immigration going on here right now. So I just have a few things to get off my chest about the whole thing. All right. But yeah, I do think the timing for Simon is quite wrong too. But listen, I also think I think it's a self-inflicted victimization. I think he shouldn't have been on those TVs, especially if he had businesses that he was running before. And I think he exposed himself ultimately, because there are many people like him that will probably not be on anybody's radar and they'll be fine. And in 3 years, Trump will be gone. 3 years and some change, Trump will be gone. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notification. I'll be right back.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.